welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
It's Tuesday. This is the EST Hangout presented by Hoots Hard Ice Tea, a Boulder Real Brew tea. Don't give a hoot, give two. Matt Iwanyk gave
You love that line, don't you?
Yeah, I was waiting for Jamie's response to that.
Pause, beat, give two.
I wanted to see how he was responding to that.
Well, he wrote it for you.
Wait till there's 3 hoots, and then you go,
That's after the show.
right, yeah.
We're live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, tune in iHeartRadio, as well as those watching on YouTube. I have the wide shot for some reason set up
I
before.
like that.
Where we just have the empty
I have
chair.
the drone
Fish
shot.
eye, hey, yeah.
I have the drone shot that speeds overhead.
There
to the
we
studio.
go. I fixed that one. We're there.
Back up.
Not gonna lie, these are one of my days where I just, as Dusty was saying to you,
You didn't need to do the show.
I don't need the show to start on time because Dave comes in and there's a lot of catching up and conversation that's happening. And you guys were on in the background. I don't even know how you guys finished your show. Not gonna lie,
Doesn't matter,
because Dave and I were just having a wonderful, wonderful chat. So, but happy to be here, I guess. Thanks for tuning in. JMO, how have you been?
Good, very good. Who wouldn't be? Because the Oilers are in the precarious place they're in, right? So the city feels both energized and super uptight.
You're also one of those people that have been texting in this morning. Yeah, you know, I live here, but my family's there, and I spent time here, and I get so you kind of got it all covered, right? Like
Yes,
you,
yes.
Everything good and bad that happens in the series, you feel.
Well, I walked in, and Iwanyk goes, "Have you heard the news?" And I thought, "Oh no!" Like
It's the Sean Lemon news, is it? No.
and I went, "Oh no!" Right? Because I didn't know what to expect. And he goes, "Cal Pickard's getting the start tonight," and I thought, "Okay, all right, okay." And who
Somebody
broke
has to
that?
break it to Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah, well.
yeah. Well, I'm a little bit. I thought that they would come back with Skinner, and I've seen the numbers and heard obviously all the conversation both in game, following along online, and then the day after. And, as people root around in the cupboards trying to figure out what's happened to his game. But I thought they would come back to him because he's a big part of how they got here.
Would you also have come back to him? I mean, thinking of what Knobloch would do, but is that your...
Yeah. And this is not a disservice in any way to Cal Pickard because he is, God, there's a real great story of the many that emerged during this Oilers season. Of being a dependable backup. But clearly, they have looked at what Skinner has done or not done to this point and gone, we need the defibrillator. And Cal Pickard is the guy, I guess they feel, that can deliver a more consistent, stop the pucks you need to stop and, steal a game, a period, or whatever.
I thought Skinner was going to get the start. I personally would also go to Skinner still, but I didn't think Chris Knobloch would be a coach that would go for. This is the bold move. This is the tougher move to make. Like, it's easy for anyone to sit there today or yesterday and saying, I'm going to start Skinner or I'm going to start Pickard, when you're not the guy that actually has to make the decision. It's very easy to be the ones that just be like, this is what you should do.
Right.
To be the guy that actually has to make that move and then to go to your number one goalie and say...
And have that conversation.
You're not playing tonight. It's a crucial game 4. We're down 2-1.
Home game, hometown boy.
Yeah.
Hometown boy. But you want to know something? We need better. And I'm going to this guy. And Cal Pickard, hey, we're a lot of pressure on you now, kid. Well, not kid, but a lot of pressure on you. We trust you, though. You got to go there. That is a very bold move to make as a coach. And I respect Chris Knobloch for having that move. While I wouldn't have done it personally myself, I don't think. And we will see how it plays out. We don't Cal Pickard's not a guy that we could just sit here right now and say easily he's going to pull .950 save percentage tonight and win the hockey.
How many
we don't
backups
fully
in
know.
the NHL? Like if the Canucks had to go with Casey DeSmith tonight, I don't.
But they're on their third stringer right now.
Well, sure, yes. I mean, they are. I mean, this is uncharted, largely uncharted waters with the Canucks and Sheloves.
But yeah, it's very bold to do this, and I will say I respect Chris Knobloch for taking this shot. for going this way and sitting there. And then this is a report from Frank Saravalli.
Yes.
From Daily Faceoff. I do trust Frank's reporting, so I'm expecting this to be the case. The Oilers practice, I think, morning skates like 10:30ish and stuff, and then Knobloch will speak.
That'd be a knob twister, though, if it's Skinner. Hey, Chris,
you want to know
changing
something?
the
I will
knob,
say this. I had a moment with that. Where the Edmonton Eskimos at the time, it was going into a playoff game. Mark Spector and I had this show at the time. And it was the debate for the playoff was Kerry Joseph or Matt Nichols going to start. And everyone wanted Matt Nichols. And we got a call from someone, I'm not going to name names, saying, I've got it on authority. Matt Nichols will start. And me and Spec went on the show that day. We started with Matt Nichols is starting. And we went for like 15 minutes on it.
Was that Eric Tillman who called you?
He's naming names. You don't have to.
Okay, anyhow, go ahead.
Line 5.
Hello.
Hold up. Someone saying my mic ain't working on the
Eric,
YouTube
is that
feed.
you?
Wow. Is my mic, quick question. If my mic's working, Ty Jordan from Calgary saying my mic's not working on the YouTube
Jordan.
feed. So if my mic's not working, please let me know. But so we went for like 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden, Kavis Reed spoke, and Kavis Reed said, we're going with Kerry Joseph. And we had very poor reporting. We went with somebody that we trusted, and we then had to go, sorry, joking. So I do trust that
Frank, aside from the anonymous
we'll
phone
get
call.
it.
Yeah.
We'll have this right. But it would be something else if all of a sudden.
But it's playoffs. Who's to say? Why does he need to come out and make an announcement at this time in that
The
part of the
call
day?
is coming from inside the building, and Frank picks it up, and it's the guy working in janitorial services at Rogers.
Who knows, right? He won't say the name, but I don't mind. I think.
Yeah.
Why do you need to outline in detail your plans a full 24 hours before anybody else?
But you know what's really cool about the move is that Chris Knobloch is so understated, and some coaches, like if Tortorella were to make the move, you'd go, well, of course. Right, because this is
you expect chaos to answer anything.
Some chaos. You expect the bold move from the bold guy, and Chris Knobloch is not that. I mean, obviously the win-loss and what he did once he went behind the bench is pretty remarkable, but it runs counter to what his perceived style is.
I would also just on that too, and I think RCN had some points this morning, laid it out nice. I would agree with. I had thoughts last night, and even dating back to the Kings series, in which they went to Riddick in that game, not an elimination game. Mm-hmm. You want to go to a guy and not say, hey, the remainder of the season rests solely on you tonight, and that's it. Yes. Well, that's a tough spot to be put in. You have tonight's game. And I mean, if Pickard comes in and plays well, you go with the hot hand. Now you have two options. Skinner will be sitting there thinking, now I really got to, when I get that chance next time, so galvanize him more. And then if you lose, while the season still goes on, it's just... The mountain becomes a little higher, but you go back to a Skinner and say, okay, you've had your time. You've maybe seen this from a different set of eyes sitting on the bench or whatever. But I think it's bold. It's a move. It's a change. But it's one that I would say in this game leading up to Game 4 is probably the right one at this time.
But the message is not just that we need more or better from the guy, from the Guardian.
Average.
We need more and better from all defensively. All of you, not just the defensemen, but this is a collective effort. Like I'm watching the Canucks in that last game, man. They were, and I don't want to go super hot, not that I'm capable of going super hockey nerd, but they support the puck so well. Like there was not just one Canuck on an Oiler. It was they quickly fill gaps. They were, that was a really well coached, well played and well coached game by the Canucks.
I just feel like the team is an extension of Tocchet. Like the players are just long Tocchet fingers, and he's out there. They fit so well. They're clicking right now, and the gamesmanship too. The whole Zadorov getting guarded yesterday for the media, and then him saying there's nothing to like. They are winning that mental game.
Well, to that, Rick Tocchet went out talking about the refereeing and stuff.
Yep.
And then they kind of got the calls in Game 3, and I'm sitting here going, when's an Oiler going to do that? When's the coach or GM of the Oilers ever going to take that opportunity to be like, give me the mic? Bring the mics here. I've got something to
training.
Say.
That's Tocchet's. And I'm not.
But
I'm not just.
we talked about this on and off
yesterday for the Bruins.
Yeah.
He came out and he spoke about the officiating and stuff. It's like, at what point is somebody in the Oilers, like fans have complained about the officiating against the Oilers for a number of years, and you could say whether that's just fans being fans or whether there's some truth to it. There's always we've talked about in the past. There's a little bit of truth. We've seen McDavid get grabbed and stuff. There comes a point though now the Canucks did it. They started this game. They brought it into the media. You've got to counter that. You just allowed the Canucks to hit serve, and go for the ace, and you've just can't do much. You didn't try swinging to return it. Yeah, at some point it'd be nice for someone in the Oilers to stand up and be like,
who
"We're
is
going to
that
win."
And you've talked about this on and off the
Chris
ice, though.
Knobloch's not the guy. He
No.
doesn't have it.
No.
So it's Ken Holland. Sit there. Just do. You're also out the door anyways. Like Don Sweeney, say, media guys, come here, boys.
See, and I like the Holland retirement tour here to just
And
kind
then he
of
goes, I've got
find me,
something
find
to
me.
say.
You know, like
Here's the officiating was garbage last game.
Yeah.
McDavid they had this. Leon got cross-checked.
$5 million a year, 1 year.
Here,
You can
and
pay
here.
that all off.
This happened
I
here.
got it.
The Canucks complain and they get the calls, and now like this is we need better. We need better. Like do
I got
exactly
it for
what
you.
Don said.
Ken Holland, concert tour T-shirt, screaming for vengeance. Judas Priest.
Sure, and instead of city dates, it's times.
And where Ken
Tuesday,
is
9 o'clock.
just
Yeah.
laying, you want the truth? Ken's going to drop it.
He's got
and
the
you
money.
Go,
It's-
whoa. Like, you know he's on his way, so he just figures, you know what, I've got some things I'd like to say. I'm going to start with the series, and then I'm going to broaden the scope, and I'm going to just lay waste to the entire landscape.
Goes to the podium, lays down a few handful of like a couple stacks, and then
Right.
you know what's to come, and they go, you know, and then it's just
Right.
Some
And he-
post-it
he
notes or
buys
something.
it. Yeah.
Just okay, got to that one. Okay, another thing.
And another
Do
thing,
the Al Davis with the
45
overhead.
minutes.
It brings up the projector. The old
projector
school
goes-
projector.
And in 78, I'd like to bring up,
But
just do it all. Ken.
But even in that,
do it
like,
all.
there's a lot of pressure on this Oilers team tonight. There's a lot of heat.
tons.
There's non-gold. Now that comes off the players a little
Yes.
bit. If you're Ken Holland today,
Right.
that all of a sudden says, "I've got something to say." Now everyone's talking about what Ken Holland has to say, and that's would be.
And he doesn't care what people say about him anyways. Like he's not,
nor should he.
Nor should he. So you're right. But you've talked about this off the ice and on the ice as well in terms of just gamesmanship and being that tougher team instead of the protagonist all the time.
Yes.
Like I think this team plays well when they're backs are up against the wall tonight, but you're at home. But I think they play well when they're seen as or talked about as some sort of a villain instead of going out there and trying to because they can't
be villains. It's the speaking as a
You have to
fan
answer
of
the villainry
teams
with your own,
that
eh?
everyone hates. It's great being a villain.
Well-
It's a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable. Embrace it. The Edmonton Eskimos of old, they were the evil empire.
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
Everyone, the Rider fans, everyone hated that organization because Hugh Campbell ran that franchise so well. But
they were
the,
good and they were rich.
and they made you let you know about it too.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't afraid to puff their chest and be like, yeah, we're great.
Sounds like Vegas.
And Hugh Campbell would be on the sidelines talking to a ref, even though he's running the team or something.
Yeah.
Or you could see him like he's
But you
getting
hate them because you
involved.
want to be them. You want your organization to do
Right.
those things that get you into the winning.
So I would love somebody with the Oilers to start trying to be like, yeah, we're great.
Talk at the coach is not dissimilar to talk at the player.
I'm saying it's-
I know
the full
like,
DNA is on
like,
display here,
He was like a power forward and a very good one. And when I look at him behind the bench, I go, yeah, you have not changed, and that's a compliment. That's,
Yeah.
You know. So anyhow, that they're the Oilers, but it is not solely a goaltending issue. Mind you, what were the shots? 45-18 in the last game. Now,
Yeah, like if I had a power rank, why the Oilers lost last game, number one to me is goaltending.
Yeah.
They didn't get the saves.
But it's a long list.
Right? But that wasn't the only factor.
Nope.
It's not like there was nothing else. The Oilers played a perfect game except 4 shots just were ugly and they got past.
Posts.
There were other things that
Posts,
happened.
Fogle, 2 turnovers. He doesn't necessarily do that.
Physicality of it
Yeah.
and all. By the way, my mic issue, Ty Jordan, he was listening to yesterday's where my mic wasn't on. Thanks, Ty.
Wouldn't expect anything less from a Cavalry fan, hey?
you know what? I had something similar. I got caught watching a game. When they do like they
You didn't.
I tweeted because I turned on the television. I went, the game's underway, and it was the previous game.
Oh, okay.
And I tweeted like, well, that's the start they wanted. And then I went, no, that's the game I actually care about is coming up in 2 hours.
Okay, but that's
They're
an
showing
innocent. You're alone.
Well, sure,
You're
and you
scared. You're
just-
actually like, oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh,
But
no.
imagine, this happened. This Stanley Cup playoffs a couple weeks ago. I go to a bar.
Oh, no.
And it's that scenario in the afternoon, and it's like. Can't remember what series they were going into game 4, and this is like game 2.
Yeah.
And she comes up and she was really nice, but she's like, you're enjoying the. And I didn't say anything because I didn't really. I'm watching it, but I knew it was a rerun, and I was like, it's not really a live game at your sports bar here, but
But I am enjoying it.
Yeah,
enjoying
it's
the
high
stiff
entertainment.
competition.
Yeah, the
Yes.
volume was at a comfortable level. I was
That's
fine.
where you try to make a bet. I think what's going to happen is a drink on this, a drink on the bar, if I'm right. Then when it
Next
happens,
time, actually,
hey,
yeah.
awesome, I was right.
They'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah, thanks, Ty. That just made me start panicking that my mic wasn't working because he was listening to yesterday's Hangout. Scalding Gord. Haven't heard from Scalding Gord in a while. Iwanyk thinks someone should be an antagonist. He's always so quiet. Good one.
I politely disagree with Iwanyk's quietness.
I think that was the sarcasm. I think there was full sarcasm.
I get it because I'm
I
like,
think
what the heck
Scalding
is
Gord's
going on here?
Joking about that one.
Scalding hot take, Gord. Yeah, no, but that's a little sandpaper, hey? A little,
Go for it.
little grit, a little.
And see what happens.
pushback.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll see how Pickard goes. And maybe this is the Aiden Hill moment for the Edmonton Oilers.
That's what I'm saying. We've seen this in the Stanley Cup playoffs before.
Maybe this is a guy that steps in and like what we've seen from the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs over the last number of years is you need a goalie to be hot to win. There's no question. But that goalie being a Vasilevsky, who's
Shesterkin,
but he's not green either. He's an older fellow who has experience.
Those top goalies now aren't goalies that are just the best pillar to post for many years. It's just they're getting hot at the right time in a sense.
Yeah.
And maybe Calvin Pickard's going to be that game. Maybe Calvin Pickard sits there and goes, I have a shot at winning as being the Stanley Cup winning goalie here. I'm dialed in and I'm ready to go. Maybe that's the moment for the Edmonton Oilers with this. Maybe he comes out and produces in that way. And no one was expecting this, but there you go. All of a sudden, Calvin Pickard leads this team to a Stanley Cup, and we're going, geez, how did that happen?
Well, I mean, if he steals one tonight, that'd make an interesting conversation. Like the same other issues kind of still remain. But
he a goal, but makes 5 grade A amazing saves. And
steals
like, how
it
did this happen?
But then the conversation moving forward would be interesting. But no, that's. I think now you're down 2-1 in the series. You just lost a game. I think fans have that negative aura, but you're right. It could be the totally opposite side. This could be the start of a story here that carries you through.
What other sport has it where when you make a change like this, it's not always just about that player. It's a message to the whole team.
Yeah.
You don't change your starting quarterback to go to the backup for the next game where you'd be like, we're sending a message to the rest of the offensive line and our receivers and our running back by sitting Patrick Mahomes this week.
No.
Because he hasn't been just good enough, but also we want to send that message. You don't do that with your starting pitcher in baseball. You don't do that in basketball. You don't do that really in soccer. There's no other sport where you could sit there and say, this change is happening, because of his play, but also to send a message to the rest of the team that you need to be better.
Racing. Send a message to that animal or that jockey.
We're replacing the jockey. The horse is getting the message.
The horse is
Those aren't the thighs I remember here. Yeah.
And here it is that you could maybe this is an Oilers team that gets the message as a forwards and a defensive group going. To your point, we haven't been good enough defensively.
Yeah,
we haven't been strong enough. We've let one of our players down, our teammates down,
a beloved
our goalie.
Teammate. They love
and
you know what I mean.
This guy's come, and you don't know. So we need to step up. We need to be better. And here's that message that gets sent like that. Again, you I don't think there's another thing like this in sports that hockey has where you make a change, especially in playoff time or something with a key position, but it's not always just about them. It's partly about them, of course, because you're not making this change if Stuart Skinner has a better save percentage and is making more saves, but you could also use it as this is a message to all 20 guys in the locker room.
Another thing I'm really curious to see, and I guess obviously the game itself is going to dictate how much they're used, but Draisaitl and McDavid were over 29 minutes, correct?
Close to a half hour both, yeah. Bouchard too long.
Not sustainable.
No.
And yet, I can feel for Chris Knobloch, if I were behind the bench, I too probably would run them that long out of some desperation, I'm sure. But that you're going to have to get a hell of a lot more from Moore on that roster.
Which, though, like as Tommy brought up yesterday, is a good point. It's hard for those guys to do more, though, when they're not in the flow of the game. But when you keep having Draisaitl and McDavid out there and they keep playing, that guy like a Derek Ryan or something goes over the boards like, oh, now I'm in this game. And they have to try to jump into the flow of it and get there going. But they get such limited time that it's easy to lose that flow. And
so it tells you that he doesn't trust there.
Why? You have to almost do it earlier, like make sure you trust these guys earlier so they stay in the flow of the game, because that's maybe how they're then going to produce as things go on. If you just go, we're just riding with Connor and Leon.
But what's the message? The message is he doesn't trust him. That's kind of.
But you can you can feel, at least on a level, some empathy for Knobloch or any of the coaches that have had Draisaitl and McDavid at their disposal, where you go, I have certainly the best player in the world, and wherever you have Draisaitl in your
2 top 5, we'll say.
I've got them,
safe.
and they don't.
Yeah.
And Vancouver's got some excellent players, no kidding. They don't have those two. Edmonton does, so I could see why you would go, I got to use it. Yeah. You're up.
But
You're up.
we're heading into game 4 of the second round here.
Yes.
And we're talking about a goaltender being replaced, which, as you said, it's not just him; it's a thing. But you're doing that as
Worst
well.
save percentage in the cap era in the playoffs.
Yep, and you're doing that as well in an effort to get the team going. So there's another thing. You've got 29-97 together. That's another thing. These are all things you're midway through the second round. Draisaitl and McDavid can drag you kicking and screaming out of the series, perhaps. Like they could do that.
Oh, sure.
As I said this morning, I'll never put anything past them. Then you run into a Dallas. Then what? Then you get past. Like this series is one thing, and I'm maybe I'm looking a little too ahead, but the sustainability factor is just that.
Well,
it'll get you through the day. But what are we doing here moving forward? And again, it's the same old issues again. Goaltending, the combination of the two when you feel things aren't going the way you want. So all of these things are kind of bubbling up again, and it's only midway through the second round.
What have we talked about at 1260 for a number of years in the playoffs? It was goaltending's not their
tape.
one line,
Just
not
play
enough
the tape.
depth. Defense needs to be better. We're talking about the exact same things all these years later. It's incredible. The positive side I will take though to what you said there is that if the Oilers get past the Canucks, I don't think they could do it with all those issues, that they would have gotten past those issues. That goaltending's playing better, that McDavid and Draisaitl, it's not just them, it's more depth scoring, and the team defense is better, and then they would match up with Dallas better.
I guess I would say to counter that as well, and I said they kind of sleptwalk like that Kings series. I expected more from the Kings. The PLD acquisition, I didn't watch them all season long, but that really stunk them up.
Big Kings fan?
So Skinner has that game, the shutout or whatever, you get past that series. Now, and I don't think the Canucks, in terms of even that series against the Preds, it's not like they're going out there and really beating you. They're just going out there being themselves and saying, what are you going to do?
Right.
And then you can't do anything. They take advantage of their opportunities, slim as they may be or whatever. And then, they have a really interesting way of going about their business, which is kind of the total contrary to how the Oilers do theirs. And whether McLeod's getting off the schneid on a Saturday afternoon against the Ducks in November or whatever it is, that's different than now mid-May playoff big boy bully hockey.
Yes.
And I guess that's what we're seeing. And that's why I just... you mentioned all these issues we talked about in playoffs have passed. All these issues seem to go away during the regular season, and we seem to say, "Oh, there is depth." And Derek Ryan pops off for a couple of goals here or there, and no, that's good. It's all solved now. We're all good. The trade deadline comes and goes. A lot of people maybe wanted more there. I thought Henrique was good in terms of the positions you could kind of plug him into.
His absence is notable,
and that's notable. But Carrick again, this is another guy you got. Stetch, I don't even know why you make the move so we're back here, square one.
Yep.
But I mentioned this morning too, a lot of people have been holding these receipts, and I've heard them. I haven't really been celebrating them, but here we are. So nothing much has changed.
Schmitty the Welder in the Nasty Chat saying, I'm so sick of hearing it's not just goaltending. 2 games above 900 in the playoffs this year, 2 games this series below 800. This is only a goalie issue. If you think this is only a goalie issue, then it's a big factor for it, but you can't, we could go back to game 1 of this series, and the Oilers didn't have a shot for over an entire period between the second and third periods. How are you going to win a hockey game? You could say the save percentage isn't there, but you're also not going to win hockey games if you can't get shots on net. Because you can't score goals.
Obvious.
Woodcroft Manson was the same time. One morning we're blaming the goaltending, the next day we're blaming the defense. It was a combination of the two that were kind of not, maybe the defense more so during that time with the structure.
As you point out, that it's the number one. There's a reason Chris Knobloch's doing this. There's a reason we were all talking about Skinner yesterday. But to say this is strictly goaltending, this team is perfect right now if they got better goaltending. There's nothing wrong with this team. They are clearly the Stanley Cup favorite if they just got better goaltending. I think is wrong. Then that just, to me, says you're not focusing on the other stuff that is going wrong with this team. Playing 2 guys over almost 30 minutes in a playoff game, that's not overtime. That's not a recipe for success.
Not overtime, exactly.
That's the key.
If it's overtime, obviously it makes sense they're playing 30. But this is 60 minutes of hockey.
Spend a bit of time on that Rangers team. Spend a bit of time on Dallas. And then ask yourself, Oilers as constructed and playing the way they are, and, again, referencing Draisaitl and McDavid and their ice time and all of the things that, are around that and the goaltending, and ask yourself, could the Oilers beat the Rangers or Dallas or, insert a couple of others if you want? I would suggest I would struggle with that. that they are at that level now.
And those rosters are a lengthy read as opposed to
yeah.
the top 6 here or whatever you want to.
And just like look at, we could go to some of the goals last game that the Oilers gave up. Like there's, what was it, the second goal I think it was, where McDavid and Ekholm both go to the same guy, and then Besser's left in the slot by himself with the puck. Yeah, it'd be nice if Skinner makes that save there. And this is why it's goaltending. But it'd also be nice if Besser doesn't get the puck by himself in the slot.
That would be good.
With
be
the
true,
clear
yeah.
shot at the net and a great finish. And he had the finish there.
Yeah.
So that's not all on Skinner. That's where McDavid and Ekholm made a bad play there. They weren't all into the game. We could talk about Fogel's giveaway that happened in the game yesterday.
That was...
we could talk about 2 days ago. Leon Draisaitl, like if he puts one of those pucks in the net and doesn't hit the post, he has a better finish, unlike Besser. Then that game might be played out differently. It might end differently.
And you're just looking for the goalie to bail you out of a mistake. And we go to the Kings series too, that 1-0 shutout. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yes.
In terms of him, clearly out and outright winning you a game.
And I go some of those goals you could sit there and not blame Skinner on him.
Absolutely.
Completely. Now again, I will go back to, it'd be nice if he stole you a save. Like Shilov's made some incredible saves, and we're going, how did he make that in the last game? We haven't had that with Skinner in this series. And like the third goal in game 2, it was against the Dwarf, like awful goal. He can't let that one in. But in other ones, you sit there and go like, I think it was the first power play goal in game 2. Power play, Canucks cross the ice. Tell me how Skinner's supposed to make that save. He clear lane in the power play for the Canucks to send a cross ice score. That's not on the goalie completely. So there are other issues this team has to get through that is beyond poor goaltending.
And I don't think it's just blame either. And to what we're all kind of saying too, you're expecting something positive. Like you're looking for him to rise up to that occasion, have that game, have those collection of moments within a game, not just playing with a 7 in front of your save percentage.
At 2-1, Vancouver up 2-1. Oilers still very much in the series. It's not, despite how despondent people may feel about all of this, still a winnable series. Are they capable? Yes. I hated doing this when we're all together on TSN, and I really dislike it now. But I will say this. If it ends this series in favor of Vancouver, we know Draisaitl's status. We know, life after Ken Holland, and some people probably can't wait to get going on that life after. What this offseason might look like if they were to go out to Vancouver. I know it feels like you're in Leaf country, and I really don't
Are we
want to
going
go
to
to
get
that
Ken Holland
place.
on a lake somewhere saying goodbye? It was great. I'm going to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done by
Keith? Well, look, the
loved
guy, you could tell the smile creeping up his face. I mean, he's getting paid just fresh off an extension.
I know everyone's like, he was
Good
very
luck.
classy with that. I looked at it. It was a nice, to me, I looked at it and I respect it, like almost a middle finger at everyone. Yeah, I'm getting paid for a number of years. I'm going to hang out at this lake now and not worry, get all this pressure.
Is it a little windy? Is the sun too much? Is it a little windy out on Muskoka?
My stress levels dropped watching that video for some strange reason.
Yeah, I actually really love that video
he's
for
free.
what it was.
He's free.
Yes.
I guess it would depend how the Oilers, if they are out this series,
style.
how they lose the last 2 games. Would be very fascinating to me
the
to
manner
see how
in
this,
which you depart.
100%.
Yes.
But it's a 2-1 series. Like that's the thing we were trying to go with yesterday. It's the Oilers still could go easily win 2 games.
Of course
in
they
this.
could. Of course they could.
I still go. A couple guys still saying that if average goaltending, the Oilers win, they're 3-up in this series. Well, to get that average goaltending, though, you also need some help from the rest of the players. And I think what we saw this year was at times the team defense was a lot better, and Skinner then produced. And it's a chicken and egg thing. Which one comes first? Do you need stronger goaltending and then the team defense, or is it team defense then strong goaltending? Right now, the goaltending has been very poor in this second round. The team defense, though, could improve too.
Of course.
The team could absolutely help the goaltender quite a bit in this, and that hasn't happened. And it would be nice to see if they could do that for Calvin Pickard, because if the team defense is the same for Calvin Pickard, he's still going to let in goals.
Yes. Yeah, I could. That I will guarantee. I mean, if you're going to be average in that particular place on the ice, you better be exemplary in a whole bunch of others. And they've been good in some other areas, but they haven't been exemplary. So let's see.
Just
Have at
one
it,
game.
boys. Just
That's all
give
we're
us
asking. Just
give
one
us
exemplary game per series.
Yes.
This is the EST Hangout presented by two Hoots Hard Ice Tea. Matt Iwanyk, Lieutenant Eric, Dave Jamieson. A little after 10 o'clock, Lieutenant Eric will swap with YTT, YouTube Trev. We will talk a lot more. We will continue. A lot of messages coming in. Oilers and Canucks. Game 4 tonight, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola, 6 o'clock, live at Hudson's White Ave. He'll also be there for postgame show. Him, I think Belzy and Zach to come. The three of them will have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show and postgame show for you tonight as the Oilers look to even up this series to 2. You got the double E on.
I do.
Lieutenant Eric is here, so we might as well do this while he's here.
Yes.
You've been helping out the Elks with their 75th.
Yeah.
How's that been? How's it been?
Well, it's great.
You know?
And to go back and work with the organization where I was for 14 years, from 98 to 2012, and to work alongside Evan Daum and the committee of some staff and Rick Lawlisher, obviously, under his leadership, and go back and work on the 75th kickoff week, which it culminates in the June 8th season opener against Saskatchewan. We're going to have a big halftime show with a bunch of featured guests who we're bringing in for the dinner. So I'll go chronologically through that week, kickoff week, which starts June 1st with a wine fest by the EEAA, the Edmonton Eskimo and Elks Alumni Association. We do that on Saturday, June 1st, in the Quarterback Club at Commonwealth Stadium. And that the money raised through that event, we've been doing it for many, many years, goes to our player support fund that we have maintained since 1985 when the organization was formed. And that helps former players in need. It also allows us to do some work in the community with scholarships and some other things for local football, I should say junior football and Golden Bears. So that's a great event. About 300 people typically attend there. And we've got an Eventbrite page. You can look it up, EEAA Wine Fest, information there on how you can get tickets to that. And then the week really gets rolling. Got an event at City Hall on the Tuesday. There is a jersey reveal. Gazzola loves a jersey reveal on the Wednesday.
Does he ever?
He'll be on the scene, eh?
And I can tell you, having seen it in full top to bottom, it's certainly fresh. It's classic, so don't be alarmed. It's not, nobody's coming at you with a black jersey or anything. It's
We're
definitely
not going all black?
It's green
A
and
little
gold.
bit of teal?
It's green and gold, and it's you're going to like it. And of course, they're going to wear the 75th logo, which people are really like the design of that on the helmet for the first game.
There it is. On my glass. I don't think people can see that. No, they can't see that at all.
And so the jersey reveal on the Wednesday and Thursday night, we're having a dinner for about 1,000 people at the Edmonton Convention Center, and we're bringing in for that a number of featured alumni as we attempt to, and it's going to be hard in the time we have there, to tell the story of 75 years of professional football in Edmonton, starting from the original dynasty, the 3 in a row of the 50s, 54, 55, 56, with Kwong and Parker and Bright and Miles and Bill Smith, our former mayor, part of that team, and the incredible story around that group. And then, you know, you go through the 60s, which it may not have had many wins, a lot of losses, but there was some really important stuff that happened during that era. Under Norm Kimball, the double E appeared for the first time on the helmet, but it laid the foundation for what came in the 70s.
That sounds familiar to present day. Maybe some fans today can take that history lesson and apply it.
And you know, the club started an annual dinner in the 60s because it needed money. You know, it was a very fallow time for the club. And then so the 70s roll on, and that's when people really started to dislike Edmonton again, at least in football terms. And then they're off and running in 3 straight Grey Cup appearances, and then they finally win in 75. Hugh Campbell arrives in 77. No coaching experience out of a small college. Been a great CFL player, of course. And then somebody named Warren Moon shows up. And then Edmonton opens the biggest outdoor stadium in the country. It was essentially, you know, like having an NFL team north of the border. They were that good, and 5 in a row, and on and on and on. So we're going to have, you know, Hugh Campbell and Warren Moon will be joining us. We'll have Ricky Ray and Michael Riley together. We're going to do a hot stove for those two. They're the quarterbacks of the most recent Grey Cups in Edmonton. You've
The Ricky Ray one is G's to me.
Sean Fleming and Dave Cutler, and you've got, you know, Brian Kelly as a featured guest, and Hector Pache. We'll have representatives for all of the 14 Cups. And so we're going to tell story. We're going to tell the story, right? And also, just I know you guys like numbers. researching this and helping write the script, the story of Edmonton football is not confined just to what's happened on the field. I mean, that story is, it's pretty easy to find all of that and how good they were and how good they have become, but it's the impact in the community. To this point, from 1949 on at Clark Stadium and then going to Commonwealth, over 17 million people have attended football games in Edmonton.
Really?
Yeah. Look at the impact of Tackle Hunger, which was started here in 1983 in a partnership with the Edmonton Food Bank, and the money and the food that's been raised to help people in need in our community. So those are the other, there's the
and Edmonton was always the best at that for the longest time.
For the longest
Pure
time,
later
but
would
it
come and
started
Edmonton
here.
would dominate.
It started here. And, all of the women's dinner that raises the money for the research in ovarian cancer research and all of the programs that, and, it's not exclusive to Edmonton. All of the teams in the CFL do them. I know the Riders have some incredible stuff but you get a chance to tell that story and remind people how big this team has been and will get back to that time. But 75 is a really important, it's a signature moment.
I was going to say you have to talk extremely fast to get it all in.
Well, our
you
friend
guys just-
Dustin Nielsen, and Dustin is hosting it.
Yes. He's
up to
He's
speed.
hosting the dinner, but it's we're going to be we're going to be dropping some numbers on people, and I think they're going to be really impressed.
I think I might be at that dinner this year, and I've never been to one. So I'm
Oh,
very
you'll
excited.
enjoy.
I'm really excited to be able to
Put a
do that, and
Sharpie
it's-
inside. There may be some autographs you want to grab.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Can I be that guy?
Yeah,
there? I was starstruck when I finally got to meet Terry Vaughn. So that was the big one for me. I'll never forget how good he was. Somebody was just posting top 5 receivers all time in the CFL or something.
Okay.
I was trying to think, and just in Edmonton alone. Of some of the names that you can go with. You go back to Brian
Kelly,
Kelly's
Crowded,
stuff.
Tom Scott,
crowded list.
But and then
Jason
those early
Tucker.
2000s, you had Tucker, Hervey, Vaughn.
Yes.
Mitchell it wasn't long he was here. To me, he's always an Argo.
Yes.
I respect that he's still in the city.
Sure.
I respect that he's been part of the Edmonton Elks alumni. But to me, he's always going to be an Argo.
Of course.
More so than the other
Well, he's
guys.
on their all-time team, right?
He was just so brilliant with them too, and it was such a short time here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Terry Vaughn's my favorite. I think Jason Tucker may be the best of those three, though.
I would agree.
Hervey, Tucker, and Vaughn, I think Tucker may have been the best of them all. And if he doesn't have his neck injury, I think he might go down even higher in the rankings because he was lighting up this league. He was making those
Pretty much.
unbelievable
It depends on
catches
which
and-
style you prefer.
It was
eh?
him
In a
versus and
sense.
G.R.I. Simon, I think, were kind of
Yes.
together as the two comparables of their career. But then the injury went away, and I think G.R.I. then took off and stuff. But then Milk gets some love for the best CFLers.
as he should.
Do you
was
think
at
he makes the
training
team again? Isn't he trying out in camp?
He went for that one day
Did
or
he do
whatever.
he
Yeah.
showed up with the Rooks.
and he
yeah,
had the Guardian cap on, and
That's a great little thing. Oh, Milk's the best.
Can't make the team in the tub though.
No,
Right?
you
No,
can't. I was at a camp yesterday, was down on the field, and the Guardian caps, I mean, they've been around for a
Yeah.
number of years.
The Guardian cap is
if you don't
it's
know.
something
The
that
bubble
goes on
on
top
the-
of your helmet. It's black with I don't know how to fully describe it, but it's to help further protect the head and the brain if possible. And it's been used in practices in the CFL and the NFL, and it's coming to regular season games. Both sides of the
Players
border.
will have the option, the way
Yes.
I understand it, to wear it now in regular season games in the NFL, and I
Yep.
believe in the CFL. Like they're going to have these things branded with the logo, and it'll look, but it's like a giant.
It almost looks like a bubble.
It's like Gazoo from the Flintstones type of thing.
Yeah.
Is he could have got
Yeah.
that big.
Yes,
We need bigger faces now to complement the bigger helmet.
right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyhow, it's just a different look, but player safety being
Safety.
what it is.
Yep.
Player
Yeah.
safety.
It'll be interesting. I just am very intrigued to watch it on the field and see what it's going to look like because it's going to have a little shock. I think when we first see it for the first
it'll be-
time.
Always,
because
It'll be
players,
so different.
Yeah.
players have, and unless it's enforced and mandatory. I mean, we don't have to go and necessarily revisit helmets in hockey, but that took a while. And then, remember after we thought neck guards were going to be implemented, and I think there's half a dozen maybe in the NHL wearing them. Whether that takes off or not, I have no idea. But they're sometimes slow to adapt and adopt.
But I think if the NFL and the CFL are saying you could start wearing this, there must have been some
Oh, yeah.
inquiries
Well,
going,
the
Can
data.
we wear this? Can we put this on during a regular
Sure.
season game?
Yeah.
And so I would assume we'll see some players.
It's very positive
Start
data
wearing it.
and what
Is
they
it?
can do. Yeah.
Because that's good. Like, 'cause that's the one I remember talking to Crush a lot, where it's just like with concussion, he's like, it's very hard to protect the brain because you could put a helmet on, but the brain's inside moving around,
sloshing around,
and there's only so much you could do.
Correct.
So if there's even more that could be done,
Man, if you could combat that, and we've been talking about football and its future in terms of that and head injuries, this could be a.
if they ever find a way to protect that as best as you like, almost perfectly, football will never go away.
Yeah.
I've always said, and I'll get ripped for it. I'll still believe this though. Football will not be the number one sport when I'm much older. When I'm in the seniors' home, being very senile, watching a Super Bowl and
Put the damn
reminiscing.
game on, you'll
Yeah,
say.
you know.
Yeah.
But like, because I think over time people won't allow their kids to play football because of the head injuries. But if all of a sudden you solve that problem,
This comes along, yeah.
right.
that changes the direction of this, and football stays as this amazing sport, number one sport, and parents will feel comfortable putting their kids back into it, and it will.
And it's not weird
the
until a
national
generation passes. I mean, I don't look at football players today and say, oh, they should put that leather hat back on. That made a lot of sense. Like, you know what I mean? It gets to a point where you're like, I can't believe we even ever did this the other way. You know what I'm saying?
I've had a few of those moments. I went to the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame doing some research for the dinner and meeting with their executive director, Tracy Kinsella. And she had said, oh, would you like to see some of the Edmonton artifacts that we have? They're not on display, but I'll have them brought out. So they wheel in, some game jerseys, and there's Tom Wilkinson's Grey Cup jersey and his cleats. And I'm like, oh, what is this? It's a Rolling Miles game-worn helmet.
Fold it up.
And you're looking at it, and you're thinking, wow, we put guys out there in that. But they didn't
But even
know.
some of the helmets, even modern day, like remember when Bike made like all those different weird brands, and it was just like a big piece of plastic.
Suspension, and it's just cloth straps.
There's nothing going on in there.
I remember though having a guy on an interview at 12:16. I don't remember if it was you or Spec.
Yeah.
But his argument was, and there to me was a merit to this, where he argued that you actually, if you take away the helmets, football would be safer.
It's the rugby.
Because
it's the rugby
you would
argument.
you would be
Gentleman's
more
game.
worried
Yeah.
about yourself
Sure.
and the pain that you might like. You're not leading with your head because your head's not protected anymore.
More form tackling.
That's
yes.
where it would be. So there is that way.
Wrap up and
Wrap
hold.
up and
Wrap up, hold, contain.
And blow the whistle.
And
When
blow
it
the
gets
whistle,
tackled,
you
you
just
stop
and
them.
grab them.
Stop.
So there is the rugby model where there is the. Actually, it was Bill Guerin I had with Spec too once, where he came on. This was his playing days, I still think, or just finished his playing days. And he said one of the things, if you want to protect in hockey, was to take away padding from the shoulder pads and stuff.
And the elbows, too.
And all of that,
Yeah.
because now players, they don't even feel it when they come in. So they could come with more speed, lay a hit on someone.
Yeah.
That person's feeling it. You're not feeling anything. If you took a little bit away, now you're feeling it. So you're not going to come as fast to hit that person. And the collisions aren't as vicious. You could still lay your body up. You could still do it. But now you're going to feel it.
If my vehicle was made like a bumper car, I wouldn't mind running into a few curbs here or there just for the fun of it, right? I mean, I
Exactly,
wouldn't do
right.
that now, but I mean,
So,
I'd
yes.
maybe inclined to.
I'm excited. We're so close to the CFL season again, and I know the hockey's still around. Oiler fans
you
are
watch your,
pumped, and we're still going. But
But you can have two things going at the same
absolutely.
time.
Well,
What?
Green and
I
Gold
go,
kickoff, Green and Gold kickoff show, post game show. It's back. It's gonna live here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Me and Jay Milne. We're live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road all year for pre and post game. So we're gonna have a great time there. You can head on down to Century Casino.
Take the train
grab
with the
a bite,
boys.
And
take
you're
the
going to be at
train
Fan
down.
Day, right? You're going to be at Fan Day.
And
Want to
we
talk
then
about
also
that?
will be on
Yeah.
Fan Day on Saturday. This Saturday,
Yes.
which
Clark.
starts at 10 o'clock, I believe, at
Clark
Clark
Stadium, yep.
Jay and I will be live at noon after Hello Hockey at Clark. You and I did it last year at 1260. It was the Saturday before we got let go, because Saturday
That's
was
right.
the last year they did it the day before the home opener. We had it. We did
Yes.
the Sunday game. Me and Jeff Walker did pre and post, and on the Wednesday we got let go.
Little did we know we were having
And we
a
had the
great
ball game
time.
live. We were live all over the place that weekend.
We were going
That
to go
was
to the ball game.
That's right.
But so I'm excited. Fan Day was a lot of fun last year.
Yeah.
Are you going to be there?
Yes, I'm going to pop down.
Sure. Look forward to seeing you there then too. And what's the forecast look like? I think it's still supposed to be
a little
lovely.
cool, but it should be fair.
Saturday sunny.
As long as it's
though.
not wet.
Right now, Saturday sunny, about 15 degrees. So it'll be
Beautiful.
wonderful.
Beautiful.
And we're
It's
so
football
like
weather.
a lot of coverage coming here on Edmonton Sports Talk when it comes to the
Stadium's
CFL
looking
and
great.
Elks.
Like it's now you go, okay, we're ready to go, right? It wintered fairly well. I mean, they had that
there's not a
was that
lot.
experience, that event with the experience,
The jump, the
Big Air.
big air or so whatever. Yeah. So the field needed some work, but it looks good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's
So
nice
let's
to
get
see
after
them.
it. Lower and people, you
That's
guys have
another
talked
thing,
about it.
but
Lower
just
bowl,
lower, which
it's
is going to
an
be
intimate
fascinating to
Commonwealth.
watch.
But as a human, again, takes some time to get used to. We can't just these
No.
things happen now. Let it breathe a bit. And I think with the atmosphere and the goal here, as long as they play on field,
And I can share with you this. hopefully Evan isn't watching and saying,
Just
Dave,
whisper it
but
into them.
there's
He's talking with
I know,
Dave Dusty right now.
I know they're bringing in new like point of sale stuff at Commonwealth Stadium. I was there yesterday. They were starting to install it, so I think the whole transaction thing is going to be better, and you know they're making some improvements over there.
Well, the tailgate again, 3 hours.
Tailgate's
new
gonna be
spot. At this point, I won't be able to catch it as much, so you'll have to let me
yeah. But
know. how it
I'll
is.
bring it to you too. We can take the
Yeah.
train down together. Like you'll be a
And then, well, I can't get there.
Fan
for it.
park, they're
no,
calling
but
it.
I'll bring the tailgate to you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Unless you don't want me.
Oh no, come on
Charge by
down.
the
But I'd
hour,
love to see. Like,
Living
I-
vicariously.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jared
Tailgating
Raxon, Spirit of
vicariously.
Edmonton will be there. We've got Andrew and Jason from the Nasty Club. We've got the Turf District. We've got Elks Herd. There's a lot of people we know, so it's going to be fun down there.
Yeah.
And then, the intimate atmosphere is going to be fascinating for me because, like, I love just going to sit in the seat sometimes instead of the press box. And before it was easy to find a spot, right? But now it's like, I don't know if I could find a spot because everyone's going to kind of be down there and it's going to be a little difficult to be like, well, is that someone's spot? Are they just late? Are they getting a concession? So maybe I'll have to go stand with tube socks on the north side.
One of the things I just, in terms of that kickoff week on June 3rd, so there's the dinner Thursday. There's an event for the alumni, the quarterback club, which some of your viewers may know is in the stadium along with the Jackie Parker room. There too.
That's east side is quarterback,
right.
West side is Jackie Parker.
Yes, both rooms. The Parker is having kind of a refresh, and that's going to be open to fans, right? Part of that fan park experience. They're going to be able to go in there, and we're going to have a bunch of historical items on display. Over and above the refresh, the room is going to look new and newer. Working with the City of Edmonton Archives and Alberta Sports Hall of Fame, we're going to have a bunch of stuff again to document and show people the history of the club.
Get it out of the back room. That's
Yeah,
good. Get that
absolutely.
archival stuff and everything and
Absolutely.
the history. Yeah, there's such a rich one here.
Yeah.
You'd be a fool not to.
Yeah, but so much of that stuff has been sitting and not blaming anyone in boxes.
Yeah.
And it unless you ask or know, and working with superfan Mike Smith Knutson, who is part of our committee that we have struck
Very
to
smart
choose.
man.
Oh,
Very
yes.
smart man.
We're choosing the all decades teams. Brian Hall, Mike Smith Knutson, myself, Evan Dawn, Blake Dermott are going through all of the decades, and then ultimately there's going to be a team of the 75th announced. So that's going to be really cool. But you dive into that history, and then you start seeing programs from the 50s and stuff, like just really cool things. So we're going to get that stuff out there so people can see it.
You guys also have a wine fest for the alum?
Saturday, June 1st, yep, from 2 to 5 p.m. Tickets on sale. You can
It's
get
always
it
a
on
fun
Eventbrite.
time. I've gone a
It's-
few times.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Yeah, and we'll be in the quarterback club. That is going to be getting a new name and a whole new look to coincide with the 75th as well.
So
A lot
people
going
get
on
to
over
see
there.
the new look.
Yeah, a lot
at the
going on.
wine fest.
Yes.
It's early admission to see the new look.
Yes.
Drink some wine, see the new quarterback club.
Have a sip.
Yep.
That'd be great. I love a good wine, glass of wine. And then when's your guys' golf tournament then?
September 5th.
September 5th.
The Alumni Association is bringing back the Jackie Parker Memorial Tournament that was started in 2007. If I've got my history right, it ran for about 6 years. The Parker Memorial Tournament was started. Tragically, there were 3 former players who passed in a very short time, and the need was identified that we needed a signature event to raise money to help, populate and support the player support program. And so the Parker tournament was started, and I wasn't there when it was shut down. But under the leadership of Sean Fleming, Rod Conop, and some others, Matt O'Donnell, Justin Sorensen, they're bringing back the Parker tournament. And I'm not sure if we're live yet with the website, but it'll be at the Quarry
nice spot.
on September 5th. So nicely nudged in there between the Labor Day stuff.
It's the Thursday in between.
Right.
The bus
Labor Day
trip.
rematch.
We're calling it the bus trip around here.
That's
aren't we?
right, you guys. Yes. And
Well, nothing's been announced yet.
I know.
I'm still
I'm
waiting.
loosely calling it that.
Okay,
We have to meet that.
I got to wait for the info on that.
Yeah, so that tournament, and I think they're doing the 27 holes. I know they are. That's the hope.
So they're trying to sell all 3
Yes.
nines.
Yes.
I might-
September 5th.
Do I
More
book that day
information to come.
off?
Well,
Well, I'm not planning on golfing much this year. I
Because
still,
of the shoulder?
Yeah, so I could start doing. I still haven't done it. I got to go to the driving range and do some half swings, and I could start chipping.
Yes.
I will be in one with my buddies in August. Do I get another one? Like, I'm not planning to do a lot this year.
Right.
Maybe I'll do that one. I haven't golfed the quarry. I didn't golf it last year. It's a great spot. Them and the ranch.
And then you
Two of
can
my
play, and you
favorite.
can then plug the golf show.
That's
Speaking of golf,
VIP
right?
golf show Sundays
VIP
8
golf
o'clock.
show.
Do you know who's going to be on with Murray this week?
I do not.
Curtis Stock.
8 o'clock. Well, Curtis Stock's always on with Murray. 8 o'clock.
wanna get that out there.
Yeah.
Bob Weeks was on. So was the Canadian who's on or Edmontonian who's on the Corn Ferry Tour. Will Bateman. They were on this past weekend. Josh Clausen is going to be on this Sunday because he's a big live guy. He loves live golf. And I had the two of them on.
Yes.
Murray with. I had Murray on with Josh a few months ago.
Yeah.
And Josh started talking about live, and Murray's like, "I need to get you on to talk live. Like, you're the only person I've ever known that like likes to watch live." And Clausen's
What
like,
does
"Of
he
course."
like best about it? Is it
Also,
What's
big
everything
Major
he
League Hockey
loves?
fan too. Wants that 3-on-3, needs the 3-on-3 league.
He enjoyed what was everything he liked about it. He didn't mind the team stuff.
The music,
He's gone
the loud
past
music.
the broadcast thing. Hey, he just likes the golf. He doesn't think it's that bad. He enjoys it. He enjoys watching. So Josh Clausen's going to be on with Murray to talk about his love of live golf and why more people should maybe watch live golf.
give it a chance, Josh?
Give it a
is saying.
chance.
Speaking
Just
for the
give it a
youth of
chance.
today.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
Speaking of live with the Saudis, there's this. I don't know if you guys seen that 3-on-3 league that is being rumored to be
Just
coming
mentioned it.
for hockey.
Yeah. Yeah. Big
Did you guys-
3-on-3. Major League Hockey.
That's Saudi money apparently.
Yeah. It's all the same. And
They're
we're gonna
coming.
have a
They're
six.
coming.
We're gonna have a 6-a-side football league. We're gonna have a. I mean, you can go on with this, right?
I'm surprised.
5-a-side soccer.
I'm
you can.
surprised
It's
after.
Shetland hockey.
All of it's just a little compact, a little glitz and glamour sprinkled on
I'm
top
just
and money.
surprised after golf and then trying to build their own soccer league.
It's-
Their next sport was hockey.
Yeah.
We're gonna build a 3-on-3 hockey league with a $30 million salary cap per team, with the hopes of
And where
paying-
would these franchises be dotted
At the moment,
on the global
Steve,
map?
Toronto.
Who had it? Was it
All
Steve
of them in
Dangle?
Toronto.
No,
Markham,
it's
Markham,
BC,
Paris,
Saskatchewan, Ontario, Quebec, and then the States with some of the bigger
And let me
cities, but like
guess, in
Omaha in there
Quebec,
too and stuff.
It's the Nordiques. They go in, they just swoop it up, and
snowman mascot's there.
Patrick Waugh
Yeah.
leaves the Islanders to coach the Nordiques.
For that Saudi money. That's yeah.
Okay, so it's 3-on-3 hockey.
With a $30 million budget, with them hopes of getting like that guy who's late in his career looking to cash in, or that person who doesn't think they're going to get the money. Like that middle class of hockey is being taken away, right?
Okay,
Who are they going to try to
Think
get
of the
those?
names
I'm
that-
just trying to think of who's that first NHLer who's
Phil
going to be
Kessel.
like, I'm taking the money.
Phil Kessel.
Adam Cracknell.
Oh, good recall. I'm wondering what current NHLers take the cash.
Who jumps?
YouTube Trev says Evander Kane, which would make a little bit of sense.
Where he says, and when they do
the
the
cash.
media avail or the news conference, he says, I wanted a life experience, right?
But
Stop
Right.
it. Stop
Where he
it.
just says, it's not about the money. It's not about the hockey.
They
They convinced me.
I'm buying into the project. He'll
project,
mention
yeah.
the project.
Yeah.
But being the
Project.
first, that'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool to kind of be the.
Right.
you had those first initial golfers that then paved the way to allow other golfers to be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go do this. How's hockey going to react? to
Player,
this? Hockey
coach.
also isn't one of those like they don't like
just-
rocking the boat. Who's going to be that? Like, is there how many hockey players are really going to be like, no, you want to know something? I want to go play for this new league.
Well,
to
then
make
would you
my
be then
money.
be banished from the NHL guide and record book for
that's
eternity?
where-
Like you're out.
Does the
You-
NHL
you're never coming
PGA
back.
ban you for life type thing?
Right.
It's what happens
Hey,
there.
guys, I know you don't want old stuff right now, but allow me to jump in. Like Bobby Hull,
WHA.
when couldn't play in the 72 Canada, right? Because you're with the
now
WHA.
we're going down the road here. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Well,
we don't want
yeah.
that.
it's
Valerie
going to
line
be,
1. Too soon? No, I don't know.
The Saudis coming after hockey.
Yeah, and how did you have it? You had golf, and
Well,
then
golf and soccer were the two.
golf, soccer, and now
right, and now
hockey.
it's we're going to
Is
hockey.
it
Just
full,
as you
is
chew
it
it up.
full ice? It's not like half court. You got to go touch
I
up
want a
and then
thin
come
ice.
back
I think
in.
it's
I want a real thin ice.
I think it's regular.
Phone booth.
It's 3-on-3. I think it's like what we see in the in overtime.
International.
But it's going to be here. But I will say this: 3-on-3 will never work unless you get skilled players. Because I go back to seeing. I remember the 2018 Olympics where.
So it's Wayne Van Dorp.
Well,
They said a roster of like 14 or
when
something.
You have
Hey,
three
how do you
guys,
build a roster?
When you have 3-on-3 and they're not the Connor McDavids and Leon Draisaitls and Nathan McKinnons and Kale McCarrs
It's
of the
not
world.
that
Playing
Right.
29 minutes a game.
When you've got Derek
Yeah.
Ryan, with all due respect, like Darren
Oh,
Ryan's and
yeah.
Warren Fogel's on the ice instead, 3-on-3 is very different. It's not as electrifying as it is when you have those top end. So this 3-on-3 league, like they better get some decent skilled names because this then will for sure not last because golf, like they got good golfers who could still golf. You know, they're bringing in soccer players that still hasn't really taken off.
No.
You watch them, like that's not good soccer. This, I think we're going to look at like this isn't really that exciting.
But
Because I go back to that 2018 Olympics. I watched through Canada was taking on, I can't remember who, and I was like, this is terrible compared to the 3-on-3 that I'm used to seeing in the National Hockey League.
Well, of
because we're
course.
seeing these unbelievable players get the open ice.
And it's a moment.
Yes.
It's a moment within a game. But paint me the picture of that podium, that introductory podium, where it's like whoever the league, the commission, and then they'll have the 3 token players, right, that they've chosen to
Of course.
spearhead this thing.
Who's the Greg Norman of
Who's
this?
populating that whole podium there?
Well,
That's
I
fascinating
do like
to think.
the
Who's
Evander
Greg
Kane.
Norman?
I like the call there.
But who's the one face of this?
Kenny Holland?
That behind...
Can you imagine?
Consultant.
Well, the timeline's adding up here. All of a sudden,
Consultant. Yeah. Sort of a quality control.
The
I'm
league
here
will
for the
be
project.
full of Detroit Red Wings. Of the past.
Sure.
And so he'll try to get Nick Lidstrom.
It's fun to think about, eh? Like, just how is that going to take a look?
Bure slides in somewhere just off to the side.
Well,
just,
yeah.
again, quality control.
The project.
This is the EST Hangouts presented by Hoots Hard Ice Tea. Dave Jamieson, Lieutenant Eric, Matt Iwanyk. We'll switch right away here, Lieutenant Eric, with YouTube Trev.
a line change.
Of
Like
this
three.
hour brought to you by the
Real
Hive
quick.
Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring a buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show tonight. Tommy's live at Hudson's White. Schmitty from Strathcona Spirit has just texted me. Birdie Booze will be available at Hudson's White tonight for the game. Couple drop shot ideas. Birdie Bomb, which is the Birdie Booze dropped in 6 o'clock or lager. Standby. It should be 3 parts beer, 1 part Birdie. Orange and Blue Gold Juice, which is Birdie Booze dropped in OJ. He did that on Global and it turned green. So I don't know if the orange and blue part of that works.
Minnesota Wild.
Don't Star Series.
As
We don't.
Dane Christensen said on Global, like off air to us, it's hitting the green. That's what that
got
shot
it.
is.
Yeah.
Danger again.
And then Birdie Boost, which is Birdie Booze dropped in Red Bull. So there's a few ideas for, but Birdie Booze will be available at Hudson's White tonight. So go hang out with Tommy.
Get those lips blue. I want to see everybody with a blue lip around their mouth.
I have bottles. I forgot to bring them in. He gave me some from this weekend, so we have some for around.
Thanks
here.
again, Schmitty, too. That was a great event Saturday. I didn't talk to you as much as I wanted, but
Quickly, we just want to qualify someone for the VIP table at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. With that, I think you could switch for YTT. Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, July 12th through the 14th, the Kingsman Park, greatoutdoorcomedyfestival.com for more information or to get tickets. Friday, Andrew Selch, Shane Gillis, completely sold out. There are no general admission. There's VIP tables. That's what we're qualifying for today, throughout the rest of this week and next week as well. Saturday, Kevin Hart. Sunday, Burt Kreischer and Whitney Cummings. Limited tickets available for both of those 2 days. Again, tickets available, greatoutdoorscomedyfestival.com. Go enjoy some live comedy in a great outdoor setting. And Alley Cat, the official beer of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival here in Edmonton, which will feature the 6 o'clocker lager. So the first big event, the 6 o'clocker lager, will be featured at. It'll be at Kingsman Park, July 12th through the 14th. To qualify for this VIP table for Friday with Andrew Schultz and Shane Gillis, just text us to 780-218-9999. Let's go Birdie Booze. Text us Birdie Booze to 780-218-9999.
Has to be spelled correctly. Is that
I'm not on this one. I'm not in this one. Yeah,
closest to the pin.
When we did the giveaway, the EST flyaway to Vegas, it was you got to spell it correct.
Sure,
like
I
let's
understand.
go. Let's do this.
Understandably
This
so.
one, Birdie Booze. As long as we know that's what you're saying, you'll qualify for the chance to win this VIP table, which we'll give away next Friday on the morning show, and then after that, we'll qualify for a few weeks for the Saturday, and then we'll qualify a few weeks for the Sunday. Okay. But if you don't get in on this, get your tickets now, greatoutdoorscomedyfestival.com. YTT is going to join us. Dave Jamieson with us here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. You two, just get right in that camera. The back of the head.
Sorry. This is behind
iHeartRadio. Tune in to
let
YouTube.
me just. This is behind the curtain stuff that I love. That you do it in front of the curtain, like you're loading up from the box. It's not. You're not shy in any way. It's early in the morning or relatively early, mid-morning now.
10:12.
And okay. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I guess is why wouldn't you?
Yeah, we can't hide it now. Like, look, did we drink at 1260 at 9 and 10 in the morning. Yeah, that happened.
Oh, yeah.
But people
yeah.
didn't know because we weren't on video.
Oh, I don't know
There's-
if you heard some of the quality of the conversation.
If
It
you
was
know, you
definitely
know.
affected.
Well, I think people either go, are they just terrible at their job or are they drunk today? And I think often they would just go terrible at their
Terrible
jobs.
at the job would be my
I
go-to.
think that would be the main one. These guys are awful. This
Jeez.
is terrible. What are they doing? And then some would let us know in the inbox quite a bit of how terrible we
Do
are
you
at
guys,
job.
is your inbox, and I haven't, looked lately, is your inbox a nicer place, a gentler, kinder environment than the
so
one we
That's a good
experienced?
question. I've always been curious about that.
Me and Eric talked about this a few months in. So I'll start with the text line.
Okay.
It's incredible. You'd be stunned, Dave, at how nice it is. At how, like, when they're look, we had our conversation about Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard and team defense, and there's differing opinions. And people are disagreeing with me on things, but there's nothing vicious about it. It's just differing opinions. Just
No
a good
slewfoots
a
in the
sports
inbox.
chat.
Yeah.
I disagree with you. This is why. The terrible texts that we got at 1260. No, they're not there. You'd be stunned. It's like those people, they chose to then make sure not to follow us here.
Okay.
So it's been lovely that way. The nasty chat has been great because people now could see what we see in the inbox and they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
That said, some nasties, I know one for sure talked to Eric. They've seen some people, because some people, we get, especially with this Canucks series,
But
Vancouver
they
Canucks trolls are coming.
self-police, right? The nasty
But some
chat.
people have been like, I'm having to block people because they're just so annoying.
Oh.
And it was one like, welcome to our world. Welcome to what we've actually had to deal with for a number of years with
Yes.
10, 12, 60 back at the old place. Now you've seen what some people could do with the anonymous stuff. But I would say, actually, the nasty chat, I would say, is worse than our text line right now.
For sure.
Especially in this Vancouver Canucks series. In fact, I'm monitoring the chat post game because Canucks fans are coming in and trying to, and I don't care that Canucks fans come in. I care when it goes too far, and sometimes they force Oiler fans that person then goes too far because the Canucks fan goes too far, and I don't want anything to go too far. So I'm now having to watch it and kick people out. But yeah,
Which is
it's
fun.
kicking people out.
Every now and then it's like
I don't wanna kick anyone else.
Dusty loves it.
Did you guys get into the conversation around that I believe started with the Spectre article on that cited Roger Nielsen waving the towel years ago when the Canucks
We haven't
were in the
discussed
Stanley
that.
Okay, it just like that whole thing became like a mushroom cloud
yeah.
of media navel gazing and the Sakaris and Price boys bringing on Tony Gallagher. I know the name may not mean anything, but a longtime writer covering the Canucks, well-regarded journalist out there, and how all of that sort of became its own thing. Well removed from the actual playing of the hockey. It became this sort of thing to be dealt with over off to the side. It was a weird thing to watch.
There's a lot of weird things nowadays.
Oh,
with the
there
internet,
are.
though.
Yes.
In hockey.
Yes.
We have those conversations a lot. But yeah, back to the nasty chat itself or the inbox. It's been lovely. I won't lie.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed this series has been the most intense in the nasty chat. There's been a few nights. Well, even there, it's good because they do. It sparks conversation when you have people butting heads. But yeah, there is that line you don't want to cross it. We've had to time a few people out, but the Vancouver fans they've come in. They've like a lot. Actually, I've been pretty impressed by. All the Canucks fans that are chiming in on the Nielsen show and pre and
they're
post.
taking time away from planning what they're going to steal when they riot. Right? They're like, oh,
He comes from Vancouver. He's allowed to say it.
I could say it. I covered the first riot. I
That's
had
your-
people
that's-
that were, no, I shouldn't say involved, but they were, because of their roles, were right as part of that second one.
Yeah.
It's not something to be joked about, but it's a phenomenon that does not look good on that fan base or that city.
No, absolutely not. That's crazy. I remember that like yesterday. Well, I was in grade 7 when all that was
The
going
Boston series.
on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's
I was in, who was it on CTV at the time? It was Rob Williams was his name. Not our Rob Williams. I think there was another one. Or is it something else. Him and his cameraman were filming everything, and
Yes.
it was just incredible television to watch. Just how well he covered it. He was right in there as people are breaking in. He's even commenting like, "Oh, there's an idiot, and there's a loser," and
It's like, I don't know
it
what
was
this guy's doing.
fascinating.
Yeah, my friend Dan Russell, whose show I used to do many, many years ago out there in Vancouver, I think they stayed on the air like right through the night.
Yeah,
Because it became,
It's must-watch.
far less about the hockey game.
It's must-watch television because a major city in this country
You've got
was
civil disobedience and worse, and yeah.
Well, then that's where the police have to come out, and they've got to deal with it, and then
Right.
police with the horses come out, and
It's
you never
actually
want that
crazy.
one.
Like,
Never want that one.
No, for sure. It's actually crazy. Like looking back at it, I was a kid when all of it was happening, and so you're like, yeah. But like looking back at it now, if it was happening at my age right now, I wouldn't. I'd be like, holy crap! Like this is really serious. Like,
Yeah, and then just a couple years younger than you, they go, "I got to get there."
Right.
That's the line.
Yeah, true.
You've
Okay.
just passed that line. Of,
Yeah.
I got to go be
Yeah.
part of this and get a free TV out of
Yeah.
this.
I'm a nine and a
that's
half
good.
shoe, and I'm a large shirt. Grab what you can. Yeah. No, it's some weird stuff takes over.
Got to ask you quickly here.
Don't.
What?
What? Yes, I've changed since the last time I've been in here. Is that what it is? My
Changed
opinion
clothes or
on
changed-
the Oilers. On
No.
the Canucks.
Oh
No,
You were right, Maddie. Is that what you're gonna ask?
That's not at all what I was going to ask.
I said
that clip.
I said the Canucks were gonna. I was like Oilers in 5. I thought it was gonna be an easy series, and he was like, no, I don't think that's. I think you're, you got to give the Canucks some credit. And I'm like, Maddie, no, I'm not going to, and. I think that's why he wanted to bring
not
me in.
where I was going with
I thought
this.
he was going to bring it up. The first question he was
Not
going to
at
ask,
all.
so how are you feeling about the series now?
There's a pretty big story around the Oilers today,
Yes.
which is Calvin Pickard's getting the start in
Okay.
net, not Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
I was wanting to get your thoughts on Calvin Pickard starting over
Okay.
Stuart Skinner.
He
but
wanted
thank
to-
you for the full credit
wanted
Yes,
to
there.
you're
talk
right,
about
you're
his
right.
clothing.
Yeah.
That's what I
changed.
thought too. When he said, "Have I
Because I
changed?" I
changed.
thought, like, did you change it between the morning show and now?
Yeah,
And-
no, I did not change. But yes, Maddie, I wanted to say you're right, and it doesn't because I'm wrong. It doesn't even matter what I'm probably going to be wrong in this, but. I was listening in. I want to say that was a very good first hour. I didn't even want to be a part. I was like, man, I'm loving listening to you guys. So it was funny, obviously I'm here now. But as far as the
I'm here now.
but
So
I'm here
to
now.
ruin it.
I'm here now. Yeah, there was sort of a tone of resignation, and I'm
like,
here now.
I'm like, damn it, I'm
I'm a
gonna go ruin
changed
this.
man.
Well, you guys were just, well, obviously you
Well,
know
we've known each other for a long
And I
time.
was
Yeah.
like, I can't bring what LT's bringing. You guys are working so well. So,
Well, I'm laughing harder now than I did in the first hour. So
well, there
thank you
go.
for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. So as far as Pickard and Skinner, I'm for it. I'm totally for it. Like, what's there to lose? Like, there's really at the end of the day, going into it last year, Stuart Skinner, he'd get pulled, and then there's questions: are they going to play Jack Campbell? No, they're not going to. They're going back to Stuart Skinner. And then Stuart Skinner, he got pulled again, and it was a reoccurring thing.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, Jay Woodcroft, I'm like, man, I feel like this is keeping him up at night in the summer. Like, I wish I just played Jack Campbell once, because it's the unknowing of not knowing what Jack Campbell could have done. Is he going to win you a game? Who knows? You really don't know. So you got Calvin Pickard starting tonight. I'm not what's there to lose? And at least now going into the next game, if he doesn't really play that good, at least you can be like, okay, well, now we know. So that's one thing for me. I'm looking at it, but he was he was the steady Eddie whenever
Yes, he
they
was.
relied on him this this season. They called on him a few times, and I think there was one game where I was like, okay, that probably wasn't his best outing.
I think that was Minnesota or something like that.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but Tommy and Cass, they said all pre and post for all season, like whenever he was called upon, he did his job, and so
Which is what you want
Yes.
and need your backup to do. We don't need you to be awesome.
absolutely
Great if you were.
Exactly.
We just, when we call on you, every fourth game or whatever it is, however
Yeah.
they're handling the rotation, we need you to be dependable
For sure.
so that the guys in front of you trust that you can make the saves you need to make, and if you can steal us some and do it, with some consistency, then brother, we got a place for you.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, I don't know what I was listening to, but a fan saying, "Hey, would the Oilers maybe consider going to Campbell?" And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know the person that texted this into whatever program I was listening to at the time. Campbell is practicing with the Black Aces.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, a lot of stuff would have to go real bad, real fast for him to be in there. And that is not a shot at Jack Campbell. That's the harsh reality of kind of what is there right now.
If Ken Holland was still the GM for another 2 more years, I could see Jack Campbell being the starter because I could see him putting the pressure. I'm paying him $5 million.
Yeah.
We need to start. He's gone. He's out the door. And Jack Campbell's not anyone else's goalie here.
No.
That it does make it a little easier, I think, to now not go to Jack Campbell. You paying this guy $5 million? What are you doing here? I will go to just 2 parts. What could go wrong with Calvin Pickard in that? Where I could see, and this is one of the reasons why I would have started Skinner in a sense over Pickard, was you've now said to Skinner, we're not trusting you. You're not playing well. We're not trusting you in a sense. And if Pickard doesn't play well today, now you have to go to Skinner in 2 days and
be like, hey,
you're the guy.
Hey, guess what?
We're down 3-1.
Didn't quite
Just
work.
Joking, you know. And that's the one
good point.
where it's that he'd be then your because he is your starter. Whereas if you blow today, if you put him in and you pulled him again, or you don't go to him next game, you go to Pickard and you're like, you're the savior of this team.
Yeah.
We're down 3-1, but we could come back. We've got this. We believe in you. And it's not now you just know you can't go with Skinner. It'd be hard to get back to Skinner where you're trusting him for a game 5 if you need to. Now, this could also go where you don't need to go to Skinner in game 5 because Calvin Pickard plays really well and you win. But the worst part for me is you may have gone to a goalie who then can't produce, and then it's harder to go back to your other goalie, and Jack Campbell's just not an option. The other thing with Calvin Pickard, though, too, is he has played well for the Oilers when he's come in, but there's not a lot of great opposition he has played.
Yeah.
As a starter, I'm just trying to go through his log here, because he came in relief against Colorado, but it was Arizona, Calgary, Dallas. No, that was in relief. No, that was a full game. Sorry. Dallas, that was a loss. Anaheim, Ottawa, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Dallas, Anaheim, Chicago, Detroit, Anaheim, Devils, Florida, Devils. And so, like, those Florida games, they were a lot longer ago.
Yeah.
And he lost those 2 games against Florida. He split the Dallas ones. So it's not even like a guy right now that he hasn't played the top competition. No. So he's come in and he's played well, but he hasn't had to do it against the better competition.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That is true. And today will be his first playoff career start. I know he's played in a few games, but so it's going to be interesting. But you look at Shilovs, you look at the talent. I know it's a different situation, but you look at the talent he was playing. Like this is his first kick of the can in the playoffs as well, and he wasn't playing NHL talent before this, right? So.
But they're and again, I'm ill qualified to discuss goaltending in any great depth.
Me too.
But with Shilovs, there is he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And that isn't to say that he isn't aware of his surroundings or the magnitude of what he's doing here. I'm sure he is. But because he's got no baseline for all of this, I'm just going to play.
Yeah.
And look, what if he is awful tonight? Well, okay, Canuck fan base goes, well, you've got the default of, well, he's Shilovs. I mean, we didn't expect anything. Whatever we got to this point was manna from heaven.
We're in bonus territory.
So what are we, we're down to our 3 guy, or maybe 4. Wow, who would have thought we'd be here?
Yeah.
So they've got that sort of safety net, if you will.
Yeah.
One last thing on this is, not that we'll ever know, the conversation a Knobloch has with Skinner.
Yeah.
And how he frames it, how he delivers it, how it's received. I mean, based on what we think we know about Skinner, a terrific guy, well loved by his teammates, frankly, quite well regarded by the media based on the response to the scrum he did, the availability.
He's
and all
very
that
well
stuff.
spoken. He's always available.
A thoughtful guy. I'd just be curious as to how all of that went down.
And what Murray said yesterday, Murray knows Stuart Skinner a little bit. And he said that last year, one thing, this is what he said on the Hangout yesterday, was that Skinner, it bothered him a little bit how much he was pulled. And that he didn't feel like the coaching staff trusted him and stuff.
Right.
Because of the amount of times he was pulled, which flip side, though, is you got to just look at the goals allowed and understand that as a professional goalie in the National Hockey League, if you're giving those up, it doesn't matter whether you think it's yourself or the team defense or a combination or whatever, those goals, that score
Someone's
sheet
gonna ring a
saying
bell, and
that
it's
score
over.
keeps going up for the opposition, you're paying that price.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that and accept that. And next time go in net and make sure those goals don't get in the net. Make that big save that no one is expecting. And everyone's losing their mind over because it's going to be all over the highlight reels because of that big save that's kept the Oilers in it or led the other way. It was the first round against the Kings. I can't remember which game it was. Might have been game one or something where he made the big save on one end and immediately went the other way and they scored.
Yes, that
remember
was
which one I'm
that
talking
was
about.
game one.
Yeah,
that was
like-
the save of the game.
Not enough of that happening from Stuart Skinner.
No.
And that's where it could change the tide, where you make that one big save and all of a sudden a minute later it's in the back of the other net, and what a swing that could have been.
Yeah, and then, like that is it's falling back on goaltending a lot right now because the Oilers. Yeah, you look at the numbers, the advanced stats, if you will. They're in these games. Yes, they are playing Connor and Leon just outrageous numbers right now, but like they were winning game one. But again, it kind of fell on Skinner as well as the whole team. He's not the full one to blame, but like the last goal, the Connor Garland one, he was the first to say it. He needs to have that, right? And so it sucks. It does suck that we're having this conversation, and it's like it's the same. It's like a new year and the same team in a sense because it's Connor and Leon again. They're showing up in the playoffs, not so much as anyone else really. The goaltending obviously is an issue, and it sucks. It really does suck because he is a good guy, and you want to see him succeed, and he wants it more than anyone. Yeah, it's tough for sure.
And that's the problem when you have a team like the Vancouver
Hardest
Canucks.
position in the hardest league
Yeah.
in the world. I mean,
Amen.
hardest hockey. I don't want to get into comparing whether
Of
hockey
leagues,
is
yeah.
tougher. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But there aren't a lot of positions that are as tough in sports as
there
tough as a starting goalie.
No.
Starting quarterback, ace pitcher.
Those
would be
are
my
the
three.
comparables.
Those
Yeah.
are my. I don't think there's another one I would put in there. Like starting goal, even no. Like in soccer, no. Like there's nothing in basketball I would put up there. The ace pitcher, just because in a playoff series, World Series, best of 7, they could go 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could get that. You're expecting to hopefully get 2 or 3 wins from them in that best of 7. We know what a starting quarterback does in football. That's the same as a starting goalie in hockey. Any mistake you make in hockey as a
If
starting
it were
goalie,
easy, we'd
it's
all do
back
it.
in the net. Yeah. I always loved playing goal though. It was fun. Street hockey, I was a goalie.
Oh, were you?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Let's go.
The goal was trying to just rob someone. You just wanted to make that big save because you felt good that you took it away from
The
someone.
one save.
And you made them feel terrible.
Yeah.
Street hockey goalies, I'm trying to remember, mind you, a much different time. I mean, we were out there beating each other with sticks and stones and in my time. Street hockey goalies go down on their knees?
I would.
Or you mostly stand up?
No, I go down.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you score below my knees or something. Like, not a chance.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let one just trickle in past me.
You're not giving up the Michigan
No.
or any of that stuff.
No, I went on. I didn't want to give up a goal.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
That is
straight up.
good.
Like, I'm not going to. I was younger, so I didn't care about getting
orange
hurt
ball.
because I was young.
Orange ball.
Tennis ball.
Oh,
We're
I
big
did
with
with
the
tennis.
tennis
eh?
ball.
Okay.
We were big with the tennis ball.
Yeah.
I think that was the big one.
That's how you improve your stick handling skills. So I'm told.
The orange. I still have a bunch of equipment. I would
the orange
go
ball.
net right now with the orange ball. I have enough equipment
That's a tough
I'm
one.
protected.
I've heard
When you got the orange ball, you listeners, you viewers out there will know that was a special kind of hell when you took a shot with
Yes.
the orange ball on the inside of the thigh. And, somebody wound up. They got it right on sort of the tip of the blade, and they really leaned into it hard. Oh, my God.
I feel like
Take your breath away.
every kid knows that pain.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's being
Playing in the
Canadian.
cul-de-sac.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in a cul-de-sac. There was 2 of us. The 2 cul-de-sacs together. So me and my brother, we had like no other kids on ours, but then there's a bunch of other kids on the other one. So we'd go back and forth and play with them in hockey and stuff. And it was great. I miss stream. We should just play some. We should just get a net and a couple of sticks.
Did
and
we
play
not
out here.
take part in a big the street hockey tournament?
We did.
a number of years ago.
We did. It's funny though you bring up a street hockey tournament because Edmonton Sports Talks can actually be part of a street hockey tournament.
Okay.
The
Yes,
wonderful
the
people
NHL.
with Green
That's
Plan and North End Athletics are launching a street hockey tournament. More details will be
wow.
up at our website. The registration just started. It's going to take place Ritchie Market in August. I'm just going to pull up the extra details here. It's the 2024 Northern Edge Athletics Charity Street Hockey Tournament presented by Edmonton Sports Stock, August 23rd, 24th. Ritchie Community League. It'll be 2 days in support of the Edmonton Food Bank.
Oh, wow.
NorthernEdgeAthletics.com is where you can get more information and to register. It'll also be up at our website later today. Hopefully, I'll have it up there. And you can register your team of 9, which will include T-shirts, entry to door prizes, an entry into a skills competition. There's going to be a skills competition. Everyone's going to get a total of 7 games guaranteed, 3 round robin, 4 playoff games. It's going to be a fun time, all in support of the food bank coming up this August. We're actually going to be part of helping support this street hockey event
What a
that
great
Northern Edge
initiative.
Athletics is doing. Yeah. And it was, I think, the one we were part of.
That was an NHL thing, was it not?
Well, there was Play On,
Yes.
which was Hockey Night in Canada kind of thing.
Right.
They did that. I don't think that's happening anymore. And then we also did one for a cancer event.
That's
That's
right.
the one where Will Fraser yelled at some guy, like went full dad on the guy because he was getting
Sure,
heated.
of course,
and Joe
yes.
was out there and this other guy, and Will just
yes.
yelled like "stop" or something, and everyone
Right.
just stopped. It was also the same event where Paul Brown was kicked out because he was smoking a cigar on the grounds, and they asked him
At
to
a
put out his
cancer
cigar
event.
at a cancer event, and they asked him to put out his cigar, and he said no, and they're like, well, can you please just go outside and smoke and not smoke here? And he said no, so they kicked him out.
It's a hangout all on its own to discuss that individual.
If we did a week-long hangout of full stories of Paul Brown,
people we've met.
Yukon Jack coming in, we'll get Jillian Foote on over the phone. Ryan Meyer will come in. Other people from the Bear will get to come in. But yeah, that's
Okay, so street
that
hockey.
explains
Send me
just
that
who Paul
information. Not that I'm going to
Yeah.
play, but I will certainly watch aggressively. I'll be
I think,
aggressively watching.
I think Alley Cat is going to be a sponsor,
Okay.
or they are a sponsor with so you'll be able to come on down and there'll be a beer garden, so you can get some 6 o'clock or lagers or some other fine drinks from Alley Cat. So
Sweet.
that's all happening later in August. So
I can't wait.
It's great that we brought.
Sign
this
me up,
around
Maddie.
and-
I'm ready. I'm
Well,
absolutely
we got to put
ready.
in a team then or something. Are we putting in a team?
We're putting-
I don't know if we could put in a team. I don't know if we have enough people to put in a team.
I hire more interns.
Yeah.
Just load up on interns.
Hey, Pat, I need
I would
6
love to.
interns. They
Yeah.
have to be able to play hockey,
Right
though.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't get into this right now today. Jasmine has texted in, Maddie, people want final thoughts on Big Brother as per Penner's Pancakes. Who I'm seeing in the nasty chat is throwing a lot out there. It finished last week.
Oh, no.
I'll just be quick on it.
Okay.
Anthony should have brought Spicy V because a veteran was never going to win against a bunch of newbies. Straight up, he screwed up by getting rid of Spicy V early. I'm glad Bailey won. She deserved it. She had a pretty good season. I'm surprised. In the end, I think Anthony played the better game. But I'm happy Bailey won. I'm happy that Anthony didn't win, and he should have brought Spicy V with him to the final, and he would have won.
Are you at
Nice.
all surprised that not just that show, but shows like that continue to endure?
I'm not surprised Big Brother does because it's once a year.
Yeah.
And especially the American one, it's in the summer. There's not a lot happening. So it makes sense to have it once a year. It starts in July, it goes till September. People just really need to watch it for July and August, bow out. And so I'm not surprised. I am surprised sometimes that they still can find people to do it. That there's enough people like, yeah, I want to go in a house for 70 days in isolation. I'm more surprised Survivor's still going because they do multiple seasons a year.
It's
and
weird.
they're well past 50.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one to me that where I figured, is there not a wearing out process of this where I've seen 3 Survivors this year already? Do I need to keep watching it? Whereas Big Brother goes away, it's done. Like, there's Canada and U.S. now. So Canada's in the spring.
Right.
U.S. is summer, in a sense. But then it goes away for like 6 months of my life, and I forget about it.
I just don't know how many more times I would need to see what is essentially the same show. Which I
Yeah.
guess you could say about a sitcom, but
No, I
those
will
are
actually.
different.
Do you know how I'll turn this back? We do it for sports. How many times can you watch someone go play for a Stanley Cup? How many times can you watch somebody play for a Super Bowl? In this, they're ultimately people playing for a Big Brother title.
Sure.
Title in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's a full competition. So as long as I don't get annoyed by sports, and to me, that's the connection to it.
Okay. All right.
You'll never get into it.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, did I
You
watch?
didn't like that.
Did I-
It's
no,
interesting.
no,
It's
I
just
liked it. I mean, I just, having watched Survivor when it started and then sort of following along for a few years, and then you go, I think I've seen a guy start a fire with sticks.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
I've
and now
seen
they.
him catch a fish with his hand.
Do you know
All right, cool.
what was fun about it before? Because I haven't watched it since I think season 10 or whatever. But they'd go to different locations or something.
Of course.
But now I think they just go to one spot. they've reserved an island that's theirs or whatever it is, and they always just keep going back to the same island or something. I don't know. There was something cool about going to different spots. I'd love to see a Survivor in more cold weather or colder weather.
Yeah, switch it up.
Yeah, you got to deal with the heat. Good. Here's a winter jacket. Go survive in
New terrains.
Here's
That's not a bad
Dauphin,
idea.
Manitoba. Have at it.
absolutely in the spring
Go
or
for
something
it.
where there's a little bit of snow, but it's not as freezing. But you got to deal with it
Yeah.
here, and let's film that one.
lot different.
I've always was hoping for one like that.
Yeah, like a winter edition. That's not that bad. I don't mind that.
Smitty the Welder. Don't compare Big Brother to sports. Brutal take. Well, no, like it's a competition.
It is.
That's
competitive.
the comparison. It's a competition. I'm not saying it's equal exactly to sports, but it's people that watch esports or people playing video games. You're watching somebody do something. How many times can you keep watching the same thing over? Well, people can keep doing it all the time because it's just there's competition for it. And that's the reality TV. Some of them, it's competition, and you're just trying to see how it plays out.
And then you also, on another level, you either like or loathe.
You fall in love with like you cheer
With
for
the
people,
competitors,
or
right?
some years you hate everyone. So that's when
Right.
I stop watching. Well, the moment I hate everyone, I'm out.
I always like, what I do like is that you'll have a former NFL player surfaces that you go, wow,
There he is.
you're on Survivor. Wait a minute. You were playing for the Arizona Cardinals as their middle linebacker, and I remember you, dude. Where you been? That's what I like about those things.
I have two examples for that. One, there's a show called The Challenge, which featured a former NFLer from the Cowboys. I forgot his last name. It was Danny something.
Okay.
And I kind of remembered him with the Cowboys. And then Jimmy Johnson went on Survivor. Did you know
That's
that?
right. Yes.
Huh.
Do you know who Jimmy Johnson is?
No.
I'm glad then you went, huh? As if you knew. And that guy. Thank you for playing it.
But you know what's funny about that response, which is that's what it should be. That's what it should be. Is because of what you guys do and what I used to do is you're sort of expected to know everything about sports. Not just the here and now and the Pickard is starting tonight, but you need to go, oh, yeah, I remember that defensive coordinator for the Houston Oilers. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, you shouldn't know that.
I play into this now more so now. That one was deliberate.
We had this moment
this was
where
good.
he was sitting at the couch and me and Eric were having a conversation and we were talking soccer and something came up and I brought up Michael Carrick, who's a legend of Manchester United. And now he manages Middlesbrough in the Championship League out in England. And I just said something about Michael Carrick, and he's like, "Yeah,
I'm like, that's insane, actually.
great guy," or something. And I paused for a second, and there was like a silence between me and Eric. And then all of a sudden, I'm
They
like,
look at each other.
Trev, who's Michael Carrick?
Doesn't matter. It's Sam Carrick, who should be in the
And
lineup
then he just
tonight.
paused. He's like, actually, I don't know. And Eric to me is like, I was actually really impressed for a second that you knew who Michael Carrick was.
Well,
and he just went with no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we just say he's the biggest Michael Carrick fan. Big Middlesbrough
Huge.
guy.
Sure.
Loves Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just love whenever he just agrees with things.
Now
Jimmy
I'll,
Johnson.
yeah,
Good.
now I'm big.
He's awesome.
Now
Do
I-
one of those. It's the way you sell.
I
It's
like
the way you
playing
sell.
on it now.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I'm like, I have no idea who that is, but I'll pretend to know. No, it's good. I'm happy I got you there.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson was
Who is Jimmy Johnson?
he was Super Bowl winning coach with the Dallas Cowboys. Did he
There you
win
go.
all three, or was he there for just two?
Wasn't Barry Switzer one of those?
And he was also a championship winning coach with the University of Miami Hurricanes. And now he's on Fox. And now I gotta
Did he
double
also
check.
get a run with the Dolphins, or was that always talked about? Did he coach in Miami for the Dolphins?
I will pull up his. He's 80 now. Jeez,
Oh, yeah.
good for him. He was Dolphins,
Yes.
96 to 99.
Right.
Cowboys, GM and head coach. He won 2 championships as a head coach.
Right.
So, and then won a national championship as a head coach with Miami. He also won a national championship as a player.
I should know Jimmy Johnson.
Pro College Football Hall of Fame, and he just got inducted into the Cowboys.
Oh,
Well, the Cowboys Hall of Fame or something last year, I
the Ring
think.
of Honor. Yeah.
Because that was a really delayed one where people were like, it took a long time to get his recognition for it, and then finally he got it. I think this past season, where
Yes,
a bunch of
that's
people
right.
came out.
Yeah.
So now if you watch Fox, he's
He's the guy.
one of the guys on NFL.
silver-haired guy in the middle, if I'm not mistaken.
I've seen
Yeah, and
this
not
guy.
Terry Bradshaw.
No.
So
I can't. Speaking of football, I know you guys were talking about it, but I can't wait for this season. Me and Zach were kind of pumping it up a little bit.
NFL
but
or CFL?
He's talking
NFL.
CFL. We're pulling them into. We're gonna have to get them
dragged in. Oh, good on you.
Yeah, so like back home, CFL football was never really like my school didn't even have a football team. Like it was a very small town, so it was always hockey. It was just hockey. And then when I moved to, I've kind of said this story quite a bit behind the scenes, but my first Elks game last year, it's one of the coolest moments of my life. Like just, small town kid seeing the building, like going in, a few beers in, I was like, this is insane. Like I honestly was blown away. The tickets we got were like row 2. So it was really cool. I loved every second of it. It was like it was so new to me. So I can't wait. And like part of the thing about becoming a fan of sports is like surrounding yourself with people that really like get you engaged. When I moved here with my buddy, he wasn't really a hockey fan. And now he's like the biggest Oilers fan, which is really cool. So just being here talking, sports, and I can't wait I'm going to be the green and gold. I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Redbeard, text in 70218-9999. If you want Winter Survivor, watch Alone. It was awesome. They were stranded in fall and try and survive winter. So there was a version of that. Somebody asking, can we get some Sean Lemon talk? Matt Iwanyk, Dave Jamieson, YTT with you here. Have you seen this Sean Lemon news?
Well, no.
It's been for a few hours now.
Sean Lemon Pickard news, and now you got this.
Sean Lemon filed his appeal against the CFL's gambling suspension he got, and he's returning to practice for the Montreal Alouettes. So he's unretiring. Is appealing his gambling suspension, returns to the Montreal Alouettes. This, he was suspended by the league in April indefinitely for betting approximately 100 Canadian on 2-game parlay, including one in which he played. According to the league's investigation, the wager was placed in 2021 while he played for the Stamps, and there was no evidence any games were impacted by his bet. And the league then suspended him. I will say this: even if you bet for your team to win, you can't bet on your team. You can't bet on a game that you're involved in. You just can't. I'm sorry.
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
And
that should be the sort of, I would suspect, the minimum standard in all of this.
Absolutely. Like as long as you I understand if you bet on your team to win, you're still trying to win. But in the end, we don't want that gray area, I think. And it's simple. Just don't bet on your game you're playing in. I don't know what there is to appeal in this, because in sports, we've always had these type of things. You bet on your sport.
The Players Association, whether you like the fact that he's going ahead with the appeal and is returning to the practice field for, that's part of a bargaining process.
Well, 100%.
And so they've earned that right to
I don't have
challenge.
issues with the PA ever challenging. No. I don't have them appealing Chad Kelly's suspension. Mm-hmm. They're members of those unions. The union protects you or has that role for you. I just don't know how this gets overturned. Did you bet on a game you played in? Yes. Okay.
Well,
upheld.
No.
But just
it's
the
pretty
amount,
simple.
The amount, $100 Canadian. It's laughable.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's the principle involved and the money has to be separated, but it's just like, oh God.
Why would you risk your career for $100 bet?
Yeah.
Hey.
So I don't have much else to say on that. That's just the story that's come out of that one. Yeah. I do have to build an EST parlay for today's game, though. Speaking of
let's go. There's a pivot. There's a
but also,
pivot
I need to.
Yeah. Well, we have to have a game for a parlay, and I have to obviously Oilers win in there. I'll have to come up with a few more things. I'm never building a parlay without the Oilers winning.
Okay. Well, I'll see you when it happens, Matty. I don't know. It's gonna be. They're in tight. It's gonna be a tough one.
You think they drop tonight?
I don't know. I don't think they're winning. I don't. It's
So then I would think that's almost series.
I think it is.
It'd be tough to win, I think, 3 straight against the Vancouver
Tough
Canucks.
to steal 2 in a visiting, like for the Canucks to steal 2 here. I say steal. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To grab 2 here is a tall order for them on their side. And knowing, again, Oilers are kind of a wounded animal, if you will, right now. Not physically. I mean, everybody's who should be playing is playing. And then given the way that game ended with the McDavid,
insane.
It was. I mean, that to me, at least early on, people will say, well, somebody's got to just grab the first Canuck they see and go full. Was it Bob Hartley and Torts.
Yeah.
When they had the line brawl years ago.
Yeah. I
think it was
from
those
the
two.
opening. Okay, that isn't happening tonight.
No.
But there will be some street justice delivered. I don't know what that looks like.
But
or
that's
who
where
does it.
Sam Carrick needs to come in the lineup.
He does.
Or Corey Perry offers
Sure.
himself up as the sacrificial. Okay, I'm going to go. We'll do this early, or if we're up by 2 or 3, and I'm going to commit some heinous act.
Yeah. No, for
I'll
sure.
be right back.
It's it's tough though, because like in the same time I want them to bounce back. The Oilers, I want them to be physical and all that, but like come that, you have to be responsible and you have to have
Of course.
self-discipline. And that's where I feel like it might, if you have an Evander Kane out there, the emotions get high. Sometimes we've seen Evander Kane can really let loose and get you a penalty. And if you're down, they were able to do it in game 2 when they won, but they were down 1 and then they tied it up, down 1. But the last game they were down and they could never quite catch up. It's tough. It's tough to do. They can do it, but it's not going to happen always. So if you start down on a Vancouver Canucks team, which is just ready to go, and they have you right where they want you, it's going to be super tough to come back from that. But it's going to be like, I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen tonight.
Oilers were on the ice. This is from Tommy. Stuart Skinner obviously working in the backup net. Calvin Pickard was in the starters net, so Frank Seravalli nailed that one. 12 forwards, 6 defensemen on the ice for a full morning skate. Players that were not skating: Ekholm, Draisaitl, Kane, and Henrique. It was a quick 15-minute skate, and then the group is done. So now the media will head into the locker room to do some interviews, and we will pass those along to you later on. 2 guys and a goalie. It's just 2 guys today. It's me and Joaquin Gage. Nice. I think that's just it today.
That'll be
So it's
fun.
not even. It's just a guy and a goalie.
A singular guy and a singular goalie.
awesome
Okay.
Matt and a goalie or something. So obviously Gager was on a little bit on the morning show talking with you guys. We'll go further with Joaquin Gage today.
Was he
on
wearing
Goaltending.
his
a lot to say.
Winterhawks jersey?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, I saw a Hawks jersey there.
He signed it himself.
Did he really?
That's great.
Well done.
Yeah, just a true like
Yeah,
that's,
walking around with
that's
that.
a
Who
flex.
signed your jersey?
I did.
I did.
Ah, okay.
That's, hey, the Winterhawks are tough.
Terrific.
They lost 2 at home to Moose Jaw as the series shifts to Moose Jaw. Tonight's game 3, tomorrow's game 4. Dusty on the call for both of those.
Pretty cool.
So Jay Milne will be on the morning show tomorrow with Lieutenant Eric, recapping tonight's game because Dusty's calling a game tonight, so won't be able to.
Right.
He wouldn't be of much use
No.
talking about a game that he did not watch.
That's
And
very
I don't
true.
think people want either way tomorrow, whether it's a 3-1 Oilers down in a series or a 2-2 series. Dusty going, let's talk Warriors and Winterhawks for 3 hours,
Yeah.
everyone.
Tonight, 2 nights from now, back in Vancouver, correct? There's no oddity to
No,
the
it's the
sequence?
entire only day off between games. There's no
Okay,
2-day
good.
off, so it's go,
Very
go. Tonight, game 4, Thursday, game 5, Saturday, game 6, if necessary, Sunday or Monday, game 7, if necessary.
Got it. Okay.
Or
Got it.
6 and
hoping.
7 necessary.
I like
I think
certain
6, but
6 for sure.
Yeah.
It would be nice. It's just long summers, and Dusty was talking about it. He's like, I don't want to. It's going to be the same long summer as last year, just talking about goaltending the whole 3 months.
Oh, but it's not.
it'll
It's not?
be
It goes quick?
Draisaitl.
No, but
Yeah, or
Draisaitl
something,
pops
a
up.
little bit
That
of-
conversation
yeah.
comes as you're talking about who
Yes.
the new GM is of the Edmonton Oilers
Yeah.
and what are like. Look, this team
That's
is
true,
built with Ken Holland's vision in mind for this
Right.
team. A new person comes in. We don't know who that is. Is it someone who has the same vision of Ken Holland, is going to try to keep it on the similar track and have the same style of team, or is it somebody that's like, I want to make some decent changes? Obviously, you're not trying to change the major part of the core, but what do they envision this team is supposed to look like? And they're going to start putting their fingerprints. When do they start putting their fingerprints on this team?
Yes.
There's a lot of question marks. Like I said a few months ago, I felt like this summer, the team to watch in the National Hockey League in the summer is the Edmonton Oilers. I think the Leafs have jumped that again a little bit just because of them bowing
and
out
who
and
they
what's going to
are.
happen
It's just,
and
I mean-
with everything that's going on. But the Oilers are still right up there too because of all those little things. Well, not to a degree, not little, but if it's goaltending still there, you got goaltending. You'd have Draisaitl. You have a new GM. There's a lot that goes into this. And so the Oilers will have a fascinating summer once again. But I don't think Oiler fans want to start talking about that as of next week.
Yes, they probably don't. You're right, and I'm not a fan anymore. I'm an analyst. I'm a professional.
You could be a fan. Where do you come out on this? We only got a few minutes left.
Sure.
Media now being fans of teams that they cover.
Well, this isn't an entirely new thing, but because we're in a completely different landscape, from what we were for decades. I think the lines, if not just blurred, they've been removed. So sometimes it is, that blog or that podcast that starts out as fan-centric. If they do it well enough and you do it long enough, you become sort of part of the media landscape in your area. So I am not surprised that that's happening. And I don't think people of a certain age have a problem with that. I think someone my age who is a traditionalist, and I don't believe I am, I acknowledge that things have moved on and changed, struggle with that. That they want their person, I'm just going to pull a Steve Simmons. And you need those guys still out there in the landscape, I believe. I know you may dislike him. I get it. I know Steve from dealing with him for years in the CFL, and he was always very good.
One of the big boosters of the CFL media game in Canada.
Absolutely. But I understand that he and others of his ilk can piss people off. But I still think there's a role for them, right, out there. But the whole fan thing... Again, just back to what I said, I don't want to repeat, but because of where we're at now, institutions like this and, elsewhere, pretty quickly listening to them that they are, they're on board.
Because I was always that way, too. Like, I never believed you cheer for the team that you cover.
Yeah.
But now I'm a self-proclaimed, I'll say it, I'm again an Elks fan.
Let's
But
go.
I believe I can do a good enough job by putting my fandom aside when I talk about the team, and I could talk about them fairly, I hope, good or bad. And that's because you have to do that to me. Is you still have to analyze. You can't just I don't believe in the we's.
Yeah.
You don't say we. Like I say that with
I believe
you
in that
Yankees
too.
and the Manchester United stuff, but I'm not going to say we when it comes to the Edmonton Elks. But I believe but I will say I am a fan again. But I do also believe that this year, the Green and Gold kickoff postgame shows, I'm going to be very fair with this team, and it's not going to be from a fan perspective. It is from an impartial perspective. But I want the team to win.
And I often, because, I've been both on air and been a program director, I always go, what's best for business? And I know that sounds very sort of callous and cold. It would be like,
not.
Is an Oiler long playoff run or a Stanley Cup victory good for business? I go, hell yes, and not just your own business, but bars and all the things that have tentacles, attached to Oiler success. So I want that, right? I want that, and it feels better in the community when they're going well and going long. And the same would apply to the Elks.
Well, the flip side to that is I used to do the logs at the station, which is you schedule the next day worth of commercials and everything. And I would cheer for what was easiest for my job.
Well,
so there'd be those where it's
that
like...
is you. That is totally
it'd be
you.
like me and the person I'd have to communicate with. It's like we'd go in like Oil Kings would be playing and be like, sweep. Like we need 4. I don't care which way it goes. Sweep, because it makes it more difficult or it'd go and be like, hey, game 6 is on a Friday, game 7 is on a Monday, whatever it might be. And you're like, well, how do I schedule a Monday when I have to do it on a Friday? Like, I don't know what's going to happen for game 6. So it's like you have to take a guess or something. That's where like sometimes you cheer for based off what makes my life easier.
For this, again...
But the business the same.
Yeah, but this from the guy that somehow left half of the World Cup game.
Still bothers me. I never got in trouble. I'm still waiting for that call.
I know.
Still
Probably
waiting.
still, it's hung up in the system, the email.
Yeah, I'll get that email one day.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day here on the
I'm
Hangout
curious
where
about that.
Yeah. The only person that still doesn't let me forget it is Dave. It'll be one little thing would go wrong at 12:16. Is this your World Cup moment again, Matt?
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, we're off the air.
Really boosting my confidence. It's great having you in.
Yes, thank you.
What else? You got anything else?
Listen, it's
push out there for 75?
75 seasons. Kickoff to 75 starts June 1st with the Wine Fest at Commonwealth Stadium, EEAA Wine Fest 2024 on Eventbrite. And then the week gets going. There's a jersey reveal on the Wednesday, dinner at the Convention Center on the Thursday. an event Friday at Commonwealth Stadium for all the alumni coming in town. Guys like Warren Moon and Matt Donegan are going to be here. Tracy Ham. It's huge. Like, there's some huge names in the history of the team. And then big halftime show on the 8th, and we're off and running.
Gonna be a great season.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Awesome.
Trev, good work.
Thank you.
Well
I
done.
appreciate it, boys.
On behalf of Lieutenant Eric, he's YTT, Dave Jamieson, and Matt Iwanyk. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout presented by Two Hoots Hard Ice Tea. Up next, the Lock Shop with Dusty, and then at noon, it's myself, Walking Gage, with 2 guys and a goalie, and the GCL Diesel Oil Stream. A pregame, postgame show tonight with Tom Gazzola, Zach Tecum, and I think Sean Bell. Live Hudson's White. Birdie Booze on sale at Hudson's on White tonight as well. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,